Thanks for tuning into another episode of Quik Reaction TV. If you're new to the channel, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell for new releases. Watch until end for the key. We've got a wild selection today. Quik!
Yo, alright, I just want to give y'all something to think about real quick. So the Antarctica Peace Treaty was signed in Washington, December 1st of 1959. Which then, there were only 12 countries that signed the peace treaty. Supposedly, the purpose of the treaty is that Antarctica never becomes battleground for no warfare. No military warfare or no military bases can be established here, so that freedom of scientific investigation can continue. And that if you are one of the countries that are active and a part of this peace treaty, you are free to do scientific research with no restrictions or limits. Also says that scientific discoveries and results found from data in Antarctica can be released and freely accessed by the public. I just got one question. If we not mentioning Operation High Jump or the Germans occupying Antarctica with Base 211, the fact that military bases still occupy Antarctica to this day, and did when they all signed the treaty originally December 1st of 1959. The fact that they said that any scientific discovery or research that is found from any of these countries can be released to the public, let's be real, that's not true. Honestly brings me to my next point. What is the true purpose behind the Antarctica Peace Treaty? And if you want to add to it, original date of the peace treaty signing, there were only 12 countries that signed. At present, there are 54 countries that are a part of the Antarctica Peace Treaty. This thing, and remember, I'm just using all logic. There's literally some countries on this map behind me that if they were placed in the same room, things would not end well. When you think about it, under what circumstances can you get all of these countries to agree on one thing? And make you think, don't it? Y'all go ahead and let me know what y'all think in the comments about the Antarctica Treaty of 1959.
But today I'm going to be dissecting the ramifications of Israel and Palestine and how it's being used to create a global dystopia that's based on the New World Order principles under the continuity of government. So with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, in order to understand that this psychological operation is being facilitated by a fallacy, right, between Israel and Palestine, right? Because in order to implement a new system, you got to create a technocrat system because you cannot have a new world order unless it's based on the technocracy. So this is why you have the mobilization of the United Nations military factions, which is the foundation of the unspecified minor military construct army. That's the foundation of DARPA, which is a defense advanced research project agency that's connected to FEMA, the military industrial complex, and the World Economic Forum. So this is all based on mind control and frequency warfare. When you understand the biological defense mechanism for psychic analysis to where they can upload your thoughts on the cyber cloud, right? So in order to get people subjected on a lower thought form and a lower frequency that's based on mind control, you got to jumpstart it with a fictitious war, right? You got to create a psychological operation in order to implement that technocrat system that's basically a new world order form of imperialism. So all basically regimes and organizations that's part of the Canaanite system. So no matter how you look at it, you know, when you understand the dynamics of these secret societies, you would know that they basically work in conjunction when you're talking about the Canaanite system and the Zionist regime. They're, you know what I'm saying? They're basically one and the same. So they may have a different perspective, but the end goal is still the same thing. So that's how you know that it's being, these wars and everything is being facilitated by somebody behind the scenes, right? So you got the Masonic family map, right? You got the York Rite, the Scottish Rite, Red House and Blue House, right? 13, which was the precursor to the solar eclipse that took place on my birthday, right? Because the 13 is basically the Queen Mother seat, and the Queen Mother seat is the divine feminine energy, and the divine feminine energy is to revert the planet back into supreme balancement. So this is why you have the sun and the moon in conjunction in alignment with the star Polaris, which creates this tetrahedron energy, right? The unification of the divine feminine and the divine masculine, right? To reset everything that was facilitated by patriarchy, because patriarchy is the foundation of imperialism and theocracy, which threw off the spiritual equilibrium of the planet, right? So now, this is important because it tells you that the wickedness of the eagle, aka America, has reached its limit. So the Gentile, Gomer, Esau, the Philistines, because I told you the Philistines and the Palestinians are basically the same people, just like how the Zionist regime, the Khazarians, are actually Canaanites, right?
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
I actually found it. I finally found it. Footage exists of this UFO disabling a nuclear missile. And I just happened to come across this video. I wasn't even really looking for it. I just stumbled across it. If somebody really faked this video, they didn't do a good job putting it out there because it's nearly impossible to come by.
In today's transmission, we're going to be talking about how Pluto in Aquarius is a transit archetype that's based on the appended connection of the dark side of the apocalypse, which means to reveal what is in the occultic language, because that energetic vitality has the power to manipulate timelines by taking us into the golden age, right? So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, everything we're going to be talking about tonight is really just based on the future events that's going to be taking place as we're talking about Pluto in Aquarius, because Pluto in Aquarius is basically the foundation of transformation, right? Because they know that the energetic vitality of the planet is connected to the unity consciousness of the planet. So that's why they want to use sustainable development goals to combat that same energy by merging humans with cybernetics to create a cybernetic dictatorship, right? Because based on quantitative analytical data, right, when the sun is at solar maximum, that's when Pluto is in Aquarius. So that's where you get an influx of energy that's coming from the magnetosphere, which is the cosmos, which is basically the abode of the Most High, to where you tap into the spirit of Melchizedek, right? That green Ethereal energy. When you're talking about the Sufi order of the sons of green light, right? Because that green light is going to spark the Christ consciousness on the planet. So that's why they want to use artificial intelligence to combat the energy of the chosen ones on the planet, right? Because technology locks down DNA. Now, when you understand the foundation of the supreme mathematics of the universe is connected to the Fibonacci sequence of the planet, which is connected to nature, which is basically the magical equation of the universe, right? So the Fibonacci sequence is acclimated to the mathematical concept of everything on the planet. So when you're looking at these Freemasonic time capsules, right? Everybody who's into the esoteric knowledge, everybody who's into the esoteric metaphysical codexes, when you see years, we actually see letters. And when you see letters, you actually see numbers, right? Because there's a hidden message behind everything. So this is a time capsule in my city, right? I need you to understand something about these time capsules. These Freemasonic time capsules are basically in alignment with the Draconian star constellation. So when you break down the etymological roots of the word Draco or Draconian, right, it translates in Greek to the word rulers. And the rulership in itself is basically subjugating the consciousness on the planet with, certain architectural alignments and monolithic structures. When you're talking about these time capsules, and everywhere that you have a time capsule, right, is where you have these solar eclipse exhibits that's going to be taking place. When you're talking about the solar eclipse,
that boy is good.
At the closing of our last conversation, you said an Anunnaki emissary approached President Putin with an ultimatum. I'd like to start right at that point. Do you remember what was the ultimatum?
Yes, my God. Like I said, this villainous race has ability to instantaneously transport from one location to another via a nexus of portals that only they can see. Anunnaki appeared near the MOD and demanded to speak with President Putin. I am foggy on some details, but what I know is this. Arrangements were made between Putin and Anunnaki to meet at Putin's mansion on the Black Sea coast near the village of Paraskovivka. At this meeting, the Anunnaki delivered the ultimatum. Leave us alone, we'll leave you alone, or else perish with the rest of the world.
Wow. So what you're essentially saying is that the Anunnaki offered Putin peace in exchange for, shall we say, agreeing to participate in a non-intervention agreement?
something like that, but it's much more shocking. The Anunnaki told him that in exchange for not interfering with their plans, they would leave Russia alone and not even set foot on Russian soil without explicit permission. The Anunnaki also said they would tell Putin how to survive Nibiru passing through the solar system. On the other hand, if Putin refused to offer the offer, the Anunnaki said Russia would be the first to fall and its people would be enslaved and taken as food.
Damn!
Putin could spark territorial free-for-all in Antarctica by threatening to rip up the treaty? The Antarctic Treaty? Wait, the treaty that stops everybody from independently exploring Antarctica? That's right. Word on the street is that this guy's looking to hit the Antarctic ice wall in one way, shape, or form. What are these guys wearing? What in the world does that look like? The Freemason compass and square? Probably nothing, right? But you may be asking, well, who cares? Who cares about the Antarctic Treaty? Like, who cares? Who wants to go south? There's nothing out there. What if I told you that Antarctica's not a continent? It's actually an ice wall that encompasses us. If you didn't know, people have already demonstrated this. Captain Cook and also James Clark Ross circumnavigated the Antarctic wall 60,000 miles. Took them 3 to 4 years. And yes, Antarctica being an ice wall doesn't make any sense on the heliocentric model, so you obviously got to throw that in the trash and realize the Earth might be level with hills and valleys, and water suggests that. As you know, 70% of the surface of the Earth is water, and you think it's just curving 8 inches per mile squared around an oblate spheroid? But there could be something really crazy going on in Antarctica. Buzz Aldrin seemed to think so as well. We are all in danger. It's evil itself, and does that look like a pyramid? For everyone wanting to read the Antarctic Treaty for the first time because they've never looked into it, here's the first page, second page, and my favorite, the third page. The provisions of the present treaty shall apply to the areas south of the 60th south latitude. This black line right there. Unless you get special permission from the government, you better not try to go past that. You'll die. But if you're still not convinced that Antarctica's an ice wall, look into Operation High Jump. And also, think about it. The North Pole is in water and the South Pole is in ice. But during the December solstice, the South Pole should be getting about the same amount of light as the North Pole during the June solstice. So, like, should even out. They should be, like, pretty similar, like, have the same amount of life. But at the North Pole, there's tons of moose and stuff running around, and in Antarctica, there's nothing. I'm gonna use this picture as a visual representation. I don't think this is like 100% accurate on how it looks, but this could be what's going on past the Antarctic Circle. Antarctic Circle right here. Yeah. Guess we'll just have to wait around and see.
These people inside the Hollow Earth have been living there for 2,500 years. There is one continent inside the Earth and one ocean. Their capital city is built around the original lost Garden of Eden. The vegetation grows like a paradise. The people live to be up to 800 years old. They communicate with telepathy. The inner Earth people have built these androids that fly their flying saucers out to reconnoiter the outer Earth. Our government has been knocking flying saucers out of the sky and back engineering these flying saucers. The people that live in the Hollow Earth are not extraterrestrials. They're from the lost tribes of Israel. These people inside the Hollow Earth have been living there for...
Now, you heard him said that these people are not extraterrestrials, that they are from the lost tribe of Judah, or Israelites, right? As you can see right here. And just for further proof on this, and they are all, yeah, every single one of them. So the reason why this is important is because these people will never tell you who you are, my people. That was your job. One of the most important things our ancestors told us is know thyself. Know thyself, because they will never tell you who you are. That was your job. It is in your DEA or DNA, whatever you want to call it. It's within you. Their job is to keep you from knowing who you are. Meanwhile, throwing hints in movies and TV shows. But some still don't pick it up.
This is the brass section. Yeah, I know. I was just I was noticing that you're kind of hanging out a lot with Kyle lately. Is there a problem with that? No, I think it's amazing. It's awesome that someone like you could be okay with someone like him, given all the new information lately. You know, the stuff that's come out about how the Jews stole the black race's identity? That the lost tribes of Judah were actually all Africans? You didn't hear about this? Black people are actually the Jews and people like Kyle have taken that from them? Stop talking to me. When the Jews came to America to escape persecution in World War II, they found that blacks were already the underclass in America. So they had to invent a story for themselves which they could make everyone believe because Kyle runs Hollywood.
The reason why it's funny because Kyle was Jewish. Jew-ish.
Kyle runs Hollywood, Doken.
So I was on Twitter this morning and saw this post. Go on Google Earth and try to get a measurement of Antarctica. It won't do it because it's a ring around us. So naturally I ran straight to Google Earth. I screen recorded everything I did. I sped it up because I really wanted to capture the shape of this wall. I mean, continent. Yeah. Now to cover all my bases, this is what I did next. I could find the perimeter in the middle of the ocean, middle of Africa, and it didn't matter where I put the points. Right in the middle of the continent. Now this got me thinking, why don't we journey up to the North Pole? You know, right there in the middle. I'm like speechless. So while I was sitting here pondering all this and being speechless, I went, holy shit. No matter where you set the points, it always had these little spots, or a spot, missing. North Pole. Kind of like a little missing puzzle piece. The missing piece of the circle. Anyways, it's all a big conspiracy theory anyways.
Alright y'all, very important video here. And before I play this video, I want your guys' opinion. And before I continue TikTok, this is for educational purposes only. Everybody needs to know the truth. We are in the age of Aquarius, which is the age of truth. Now I want you to listen to this guy because he says there is a land confiscation coming soon, where the land will be confiscated from the invaders and given back to its rightful owners. Now here's the question to the invaders that is on our land. How do you feel about this? I really want to know. I really want to know what are your thoughts and concern about this when it comes to pass. It's not if, it's all a matter of when, because this land has to be given back to the original people. And for the fact of the matter, they're only trying to give us back our land. They're not trying to give us back our gold, our artifacts, our names. We already got history coming out. So what more can you guys keep from us? But let me play this video and let me know what y'all think. Like, comment, and share for more.
But this is where we're at right now, and the end of 2023. We're in the next phase of the communist takeover of America. And where this is going, folks, is eventually we will reach the point of land confiscation. They will pass a slavery reparation law, and the government will say, Washington doesn't have the money for this, and Washington didn't do this to the black people. The white people did it. We are going to have to nationalize land owned by white people.
Don't think they can't do it.
I'm
Other
telling
nations
you, my
have
friends,
done it.
I'm telling you this is the plan. They're going to pass a national reparation law that requires the confiscation of land owned by white people as just compensation for slavery.
And the whitest of the white are MAGA
Trump
followers.
Trump, white Christians who voted for Trump. They will be the very first ones to lose their homes, their farms, their ranches, their businesses.
You see, you really got to listen to these slick people talk, because you heard what he said, right? He said as a communist takeover. Most people, when they hear the term communist, they automatically attach it to a negative connotation. The word communist was established in 1841, as you can see. But the word communist comes from the word common, which was established in the 1300s. And this means belonging to all, own or use jointly, okay? So he's making it seem like the communist takeover, it's a bad thing. But the word communist comes from common, meaning it belongs to us. This is our land. This guy is doing nothing but adding more fuel to the fire in order to incite emotions, because they know what's coming. They know they cannot stop what's happening. This is coming from the highest order, because if it wasn't meant to be, then why is it happening? So let me know what y'all think. Leave your comments down below, share, like, and follow for more. Let's get this shift.
Motherfucker don't miss.
No, he's fucking good.
That motherfucker don't miss, man.
He's good.
Get in here, get in here, get in here. Everybody got the round. I got a gift for you. I got a gift for the peoples who donated to my Cash App. I'm about to give them a gift of a lifetime. But you see this Google Drive? Whatever I give you, make sure you put it on your drive ASAP. It's that serious. So I told a lot of peoples that I was going to give them one of the biggest gifts, right? And this gift has something to do with court documents that I normally don't give out. So I want to give it out to the peoples who donated their tools and fuels. And in this court document, it tells a lot about your history, who was involved in your history, even the schools, even the Bureau of Indian Affairs. Everybody's involved in this document, what I'm about to give you, only because you donated to the Cash App. Now, copy this number, take a screenshot, please, ASAP. Take a screenshot. And as you can see, bam, got something to do with that, right? As you can see right here, take a screenshot, please. Now, as you can see, this is the only two places on the internet that you can download literally the whole document that got something to do with us that was hidden in history. You can't find it on the internet, so don't even try. You can only go here, ASAP. Now, in this document, if you go close right here, and as you can see, it literally go all the way back to 1902. It go all the way back to 1901. And as you can see, Black Indian descendants, and it talks about entitlement to land allotments, money, and everything you wanted to know. Everything you wanted to know. As you can see right here, it talks about the 5 tribes, right? And if you go up here, it's called the Harvard Institute of Freedmen. Plaintiff, Department of Interior. Here go the judge right here, Robert. And as you can see, they try to dismiss the case. So once you read this, it's going to blow your mind on how much we is owed. And it's about to make sense why you're trying to give us this $12,000 a month. So let me give you a little commentary before I continue. Basically, they tried to hide who we are so they can wait till a certain amount of time and take the land. But what they did is actually messed up. Because when Dr. Martin Luther King did the Public Law 90284, it actually put us back in the right status under the treaties. Okay? So under the treaties. So what they did or tried to do is say, ooh, African American. So now it go back, if you clearly read, I don't know if you can see it, that's why I say it. It tried to put us under custodian and fiduciary relationships with the so-called 5 civilized tribes. And we even get compensation for damages, right? It's a lot in, oh my God, it's so much stuff in here. You're going to need about 2 hours to read all these documents. You're going to need all these documents. And I'm telling you, I love you. When you read it, you're going to come back and you're going to be in my inbox, or you're going to come to this page and you're going to say, thank you for this gift. And you can even say that you discovered it because you got the documents. And when you read the documents, It's gonna blow your mind. So now ask yourself, who built all these pyramids? Who built all these mounds? Who owned all the land that's still in the Lodial title? We do. So now you're about to find out clearly why Washington, D.C. closed down, Britain closed down, and those who call themselves the Jays going through what they're going through. Because we still prisoners of war. But when you read this document, you're entitled to a lot of bread, my friend. And this is what I'm thinking. Wherever you stay at, whatever home, you own that home and you own that land. Because we ain't get the 40 acres and the mules. Once you read this, you're about to understand we're rich, baby. We're rich. So if you like this, donate to the Cash App, please.
It's facts. It's not facts. These facts are not facts.
The press, stop it. Look at Putin. Putin is showing who the Negroes are. When you go into Russia, they never took our murals down. These murals are from the Black Russian Archives Church that you can see when you go to YouTube. Putin was showing the world who we are. He wanted everybody to see it. But if you notice, the American cameras, they took the camera and they dropped it. When you go through all of Europe, all of France, all of Germany, all of Italy, all of Russia, all of the European nations and the Americas, you're going to find out something. That this so-called Negroes or Moors only mean that you're black. Moors ran everything, and a lot of these Moors were Jews. Some were Sephardic Jews, and some of them were other type of Jews. But these Jews or Israelites ran what you would call the European nations. That's why when you go into Germany, they find bodies that are thousands of years old, and these bodies are so-called Moors. And when they go into Britain, Britain just means sons of Isaac. That's exactly what it means. Britain, when you get a lot of these names as Johnson, McKeever and McDowell, you would think that these names were actually European. But you got to remember, these people were in the Caucasus Mountains. They didn't even speak English. These so-called Negroes and Moors taught them English. And when they came in later in the 19th century, they basically took over all of Britain, France, Germany from the 11th century. After the 19th century, they took over everything.